certain way. I had
Like
to
a go-go.
listen to go-go sound a certain way. Like if my iPod wasn't up to snuff, if I didn't have all the new go-go songs, I wasn't cool. Like you had to be this PG County. You had to represent the stigma of PG County in order to be popular in PG County, and that's what the girls seemed to gravitate to as well. They wasn't gravitating to the guy that was getting 4.0s. Naturally, it was gravitating to the guy who wore the trench coat, had the New Balance on, and was cranking go-go out his trench coat pocket. That's what they were gravitating toward, and that's just how it was, man. So like people would always kind of like, you from PG? And like, yeah, but my sports background, like I said, sports saved me in a sense because I played football like I was from PG County, if that makes sense. Like I was and then my dad had a reputation, my mom. So, yeah, but man, I did take some lumps early on. And even in high school, not being the most popular guy because of, I didn't have the best jeans and my jeans weren't so tight that I couldn't walk and they were going to be above my waist. I wasn't leaving the house sagging, stuff like that. I followed the rules, like people didn't like that too much. And they didn't claim me as a natural PG County guy, but I still claim it through and through because athletics is a big part of PG County. So I rep that side more than I do like you know, the drugs and the music and the clothes and the language. So yeah, that's kind of just a little bit of mine, I guess. And just passing to you, I know we probably similar, but I definitely.
Similar but a little different because I too had my mom born and raised in Mitchellville, which is now basically Bowie. It's in Prince George County. My mom went to Largo High School as well. My dad is from Southeast DC,
Well,
and so he grew up in between RFK and Lincoln Park and Union Station. He went to Eastern High School. So they're from the area. They went to Bowie State University. So I'm really Bowie. Like I could be the mayor of Bowie. People tell me that all the time.
yeah.
I just in Bowie a lot. But my parents, Bowie State was just HBCU, and but when I lived in Capitol Heights, I lived in Capitol Village. We also, my parents were not a statement that I did not understand until I got older. My mom would say it, and she wouldn't say it now, but she said it. She's like, when we go somewhere, don't act for color. When we go somewhere, don't act like you're from like the neighborhood.
Mm.
Like, but when I was a kid, like I understood what she was saying, like don't embarrass me. But
Right.
when I got later, I was like, when she was saying don't act the color or don't act the way that people expect you to act,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because there's a stigma. I didn't know there was a stigma because, like, a lot of people may not know this if they're not from this area. This is like 90% Black, 90% African American county, and it is one of the top 10 wealthiest counties in all of America. African American counties, I would say that. Predominantly African American counties is one of the top 10 wealthiest. There's some other ones in Atlanta. We've got some of the wealthiest cities, predominantly Black cities in this county. And so so you got that side of it, and then you have like the side that Shep and I are talking about that the media kind of like expect you or think of you when you say you're from PG County, especially in this area. There's already like they start thinking like this is how you act or should act. So when my mom would say that, I didn't understand as a kid, but now I go, oh, that's what she was saying, and I didn't really notice a difference until we moved out here to Bowie because the kids were different. And so for my middle school experience, it was because I went to elementary school all over the county. I got to see different how kids acted all over the county and how what was cool, what was not cool, what was expected of them, what was not expected of them. But when I got to middle school, I was out here in Bowie, but we got bused over to Lanham, to Seabrook, to Robert Goddard, and a lot of those kids came from more working middle class, lower middle class areas. Where out here in Bowie, if you know the Bowie area, it is middle class to upper middle class, depending where you go throughout the city. And so, if there were any kids that weren't Black going to Robert Goddard Middle School, they were coming from my bus. And so I lived in a diverse neighborhood, Black, white, Pakistani. But when we went to middle school, it was all Black. Like
Yeah.
there was nobody else. There was just all black and maybe a sprinkle of Asian, but all black. And so my when we would come to school in middle school, we were the white bus. Even though there's only a few white kids on the bus, that was the white bus because those were the only kids in school who were on that bus. And so I got labeled with from that school being like just white, not white, but you're like you're not from here. You ain't from around here. You and it was obvious, but to me, I was like, whoa, this is different than every area of the county I went to because this is the first time I went to Bowie. This is the first time I had a friend that was not black. It was the first time I had it, like, I was just around black kids all my life, which is not bad. It's just what it was. And now we move out here when I moved to Bowie in the late 90s, mid 90s. What it is now is not how it was then. It was way more predominantly white and multicultural. Now it's probably 60% black and 30% white. Like the white people moving out. I can say that I'm married to a white lady. So I had a different middle school experience because I felt like I was from the county because I went to school all over the county, but because I came from an area of the county that was said to be bougie, said to be white, said to be uppity, and that was not my experience, I was labeled like basically like Bowie's not PG. Kind of.
Right.
And I was like, what? Like, yeah, it is. And so I had that experience that you have about, you know, my mom, she got her master's in African American studies. She's a principal. My dad has his degree. Like it was about like I didn't fear anybody in that school. I feared my parents, and so I had to do right. But sports was the great equalizer. Like we step on this field, I don't care where you think I'm from. We're gonna go at it. Like it was, and I had the privilege to play for state championship team in high school. So that carried clout in middle school. But then me as a person, how I carried myself because of my parents and how I was raised, as Bowie transitioned towards my senior year, it was way more different than when I first moved to Bowie when I was 11 to when I turned 18, 7 years. The change was happening. And so I was raised as a Christian kid and I had a relationship with God and it was beyond my parents. And so I carried myself way different than your typical teenager. And then outside of that, being your typical PG County teenager.
Exactly.
And then we had busing still in our school. And you know the term busing, where they took kids from a lower class area and bust them out to another school because of population or trying to make it multicultural. And so in middle school, I had reverse busing. They were taking the white kids and taking them to the predominantly black middle school. And then in high school, they were taking kids. So we had kids from Seat Pleasant that were coming out to Bowie. And it was like a clash of worlds. Like it was just totally different. So yes, I can turn off the PG County, what people would expect for me to sound like or to be like. And the slang has changed over time. And some slang is the same, and some slang is used and adopted from Baltimore and DC. But it is definitely a stigma where you're not just black, you're a black guy from PG County. And that's probably you probably say that in any area. That like if you're not just black guy, but you're from Southeast. You're not just from Southeast. You're from Anacostia. So like you have like a stigma, not just you're from Southeast or you're from DC. You're from Anacostia. So we can say that about different parts of the county too. So we're not trying to say that there's beauty throughout the whole county. We just know it affected us. One as being raised to be proper young black men, and you're not going to be a statistic. For me, very heavily raised as a Christian, and so you're not going to mess that up. The quote in my house was, "Me and my house we're going to serve the Lord." My dad would say that all the time. And I don't care what anybody says. Me and my house we're going to serve the Lord. Well, I guess we ain't doing that. I guess we can't talk like that. I guess my dad was playing that. And so I have a similar story with that. Like sports was the equalizer. I can carry myself. I don't care what color you were. We put the helmet on, cleats on, and we're going to play ball. or wrestle or play baseball or basketball, whatever it was, then it didn't matter no more. Like, oh, you can ball. All right, cool. I don't care where you're from. Like,
Right.
let's get up. Like, we can ball. So
we down with thugs and the cool kids when they see.
Now, in the culture of the hip hop culture, as Shep was saying, has way more influence now.
Yeah.
It had influence while we were in school, for sure, but we didn't have a computer in our pockets that infiltrated all the time. Like, we could leave that at school and come home and it's just be different. Now, the culture stays with you wherever you go. So I see the effects of that, too.
Something else that I think when you talked, I saw that was cool. That we noticed is like we work with college to youth. So anywhere from like, I mean, Dione's all the way up, just about any age group. We kind of like say put in a demographic like 10 to 21 is kind of like where our age group is, and we see it a lot in PG County. Our parents kind of grew up in lower class, middle class, kind of working and appreciate everything they got, and they were from the hood, quote unquote, and that is, and they knew that, and they raised us to be the exact opposite of what they want us to have so much better than what they had. So they raised us in places and things, and gave us all the stuff they didn't have. Now, like, but working with youth now, we see that, and even when I was growing up, it's cooler in the PG County culture to be from a place that's known as a hood area. So, like, if I was from Upper Marlboro, the cool place to claim for me would be Largo or Seat Pleasant. Oh, my dad's from Suitland and my mom's from Largo, so that makes me hard. That makes me cool, right? When I honestly live up in Marlboro with a 2-car garage and have, the house with acres of land, right? Never was that kind of like, but that is what gives you credit in our county, and our youth does that a lot. You'll see that where Dione again works in an area like that, and a lot of the guys that I work with in College Park, they went to Good Counsel and DeMatha and all these really prestigious schools and things like that, where they come from, home. We like to joke with say, man, 3-car garage homes and things like that. But you see that they are stricken by they want to fit in, they want to be cool, so they feel like they have to be less, like they shouldn't go to class, they have to sag, and they have to listen to this music, and they have to be this way because that's what's accepted among their peers. And I experienced that, in high school. I graduated high school in 2013, so I didn't know how to, like, I couldn't even lie. Like, I couldn't even try to be, because I don't know the languages. I still don't know where I'm going sometimes. I still need a GPS. So I couldn't even lie in those moments. But like, I knew I was always comfortable with who my parents were, because I know what I don't know, but they told me what it was like to grow up that way. And it's nothing to be glorified. It's really not. And I had a guy in college tell me, that's the difference between people who really grew up in the hood and struggled in poverty and those who didn't. He said those who do want to get out and leave. Those who didn't think it's cool to cling to that, but it's nothing there for them in a sense. So we've kind of, that is a battle that we have being in ministry now, to like listening in to conversations and things and seeing how our coaches and athletes they act. It's like, well, how, you just got out the car and sounded completely different. Like, why, now it's just kind of just that identity. And that's kind of the pressure that comes with being, being relevant in PG County per se. But I think I want to credit my parents and sure down too, just for, um, letting us know, like instilling that, like you said, we don't have to be less. As Black men, we already, as the odds are stacked against us sometimes in society and things. And my mom always is big about, we're not gonna give anybody a reason, to disqualify you. As your skin is enough, like it really is. So if that, you're gonna be just as prepared, just as literate, just as you can write, anything, you can do anything. They raised me that way to say like, you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it, and whatever that may be, I was gonna do it with excellence. And they raised me that way. So when I was getting A's and things like that, it was like that was normal. Like that was like, I mean, if I'm going to do something in this world, I got it. Like, like I don't have time to be that way. And I was always an old soul, and people gave me, stuff for that too. Uh, yeah, but yeah, that's just the kind of thing that I've noticed what you were saying. Like it is a big stigma for us to have
to kind of like, my cousin's from there. My cousin's from this neighborhood. Well, bro, you not like,
it doesn't matter.
Not, and I know your parents are working hard for you. They wouldn't trade places with your cousin.